And a reminder, the first 30 minutes of this podcast are available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and many of the major platforms. The full podcast is available at www.patreon.com/SRB Media. SRB Media.
Good evening, Gavin.
Good evening to you, sir. Welcome all to Terry Curran's The Curran View. We don't have to do any other of the spiel, TC. Chris has already done it for us. I think he's also sorted out your beer mats as well. Although you don't drink beer, but you can put your cup of coffee on there, your cup of tea, or your Coke. What have you? How's your week been? Steady away. And what have you sourced for us in the Magic Moment, son?
Well, it's been a bit hectic this week, World Cup coming to its climax, and me running up, down, all over the place for every Tom, Dick, and Harry, as I usually do. So my Magic Moment, again, there's plenty in there. You've only got to look at Messi's distribution of the ball.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to one or two managers and experts tell about Messi walking about, and what they say. Yeah, but what they were trying to say is how intelligent it is, and in walking about and how he finds. Could you imagine me walking about on a football field?
Oh, no, yeah. Jack could have gone ballistic.
No, seriously, I'm being serious.
I know you would, yeah.
Get your ass up, get your sleeves rolled up, work your bollocks off.
Yep, absolutely. Work right,
they haven't got a clue in this country. They haven't got a clue.
Again, we have
not got a clue. No managers, no coaches. Sid Cloughy and the great Shanks and all them. We haven't got a clue. And I've made up my mind. That's it. We haven't got a clue. The Magic Moment, obviously, is Messi's distribution with the balls. It's phenomenal how he sees it, and the weight and accuracy he does it with. But the main one is obviously his Mbappe's goal. Absolutely sublime.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, our game has always been based, sadly, on work rate. That's how the English have always perceived the game of football. Absolutely. And Tony Curry was telling me about with Don Revie. He only played once, Switzerland away, and that was because that Revie reckoned he didn't work hard enough.
I never got a sniff.
Absolutely, but quality players like you, like TC, like Alan Hudson, like Charlie George, like all our Mavericks didn't get a sniff because we've always based our game on work rate, and more work rate, rather than let's base our game around skill, technique, ability, and getting the ball, making that ball talk, entertaining the crowd, and let's try and win a game in the right manner.
A European Championship and a World Cup is not a league season.
Of course it's not. 7 games.
You can afford to lose 2 or 3 games.
Of course you can. Argentina did, Saudi.
This is about winning a tournament, right? And you look at all the teams, probably some of them don't set off that well, finish up. I mean, Argentina got going the last really 2 or 3 games, didn't they?
Yeah, first game got beat by Saudis.
They're winning 1-0 and then they finish up getting beat. Right? We don't look at it like that. I've tried not to speak about it, Jack, because I think that you're being biased when I do it. And I haven't mentioned it for a long time, as you know I have.
No.
Right? But if he'd have got a football brain, Gareth, and I'm not saying about a football brain.
Yeah.
If he said to himself, do you know something? We've nothing to lose here. We've got people what can defend. Yep. That's what people tell me. We have got players who can defend. Because Kyle Walker did brilliant against Mbappe. Yeah. Brilliant. He's one of the elites. Or he's going to be one of the main elites at this. Mbappe, when he really falls out within his next 2 seasons. But if Gareth Southgate had said, right, Messi, what does he do? He walks about on a football field. He doesn't explode. It's the sound of light, the speed of light, I should say.
Yeah.
It's the speed of light when he explodes. It's that quick when he does it because he catches everybody off guard. If he'd have said to himself, well, hang on a bit, what have we got close to that? Well, not equal to it, but close to it, which is Jack Grealish. Yeah. Let's play him in a number 10. Let's pull forward and centre midfield. Right?
Yeah.
Let's play Saka, and we'll pick another one. I'll pick it. Not Rashford, but give me time to think about that. And I would have played Kane. I'd have played Rashford. Pace, agility, ability, balance, quick, everything about it. We just may have won. I'm not saying we would have won. We just may have got into the final, and we may have won the World Cup. Right? We have to start to change our philosophy and our thinking. We have to do. We've done the same thing now since 1966, practically, barring under Venables.
Yep, absolutely. But he ain't going to change. I mean, he's going on for another 2 years up to the Euros, and possibly beyond, depending on what happens in the Euros. But he won't change his philosophy. Too. If I was Maddison, if I was Jack Grealish, if I was Trent Alexander-Arnold, I would retire from international football while that muppet is still the manager, because you ain't going to get a sniff.
Listen, forget him. Right? If it talks like a duck,
yeah,
and if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Absolutely.
Right? And whenever we've got all them ducks what's managing that FA,
yep,
we'll play like ducks.
Yep.
I'm not frightened to say it.
Yep,
I'm not frightened. I've never been frightened to cancel with this COVID.
Yep.
You know, I've never bothered about what people said at football, whether they were good, bad, or indifferent. I was a match winner. Jack Grealish is a match winner.
Yep.
Who can set the match winners up? Foden and Maddison.
Yep.
What do we do with them?
Bench them.
We take them just to shut people up. That's all they've done. That's all they've taken Jack for.
Absolutely. They might as well take him on a lad's holiday for what they've done.
Nobody can knock me for the Sterling. Nobody. Because I've been one of his big admirers, as you know I have.
Yeah.
But how can he go home, right? Somebody breaks into his house, he goes home, sorts out what he's got to do, come back, and then he puts him on as a sub before Madison or when he hadn't trained for 2 or 3 days. But he tells you all about football.
Yeah. But what he said,
look after certain players.
Absolutely. But Gareth Southgate, before that game, said that Sterling will play a part in that game against France. It was premeditated that he would play. 100% he was always going to play. He could have at any time, particularly when we were, I don't know, what were we, 6-1 up against Iran, he could have put Maddison on. When we were 3-0 up against Wales, he could have put Maddison on.
Everybody was never... We beat them 6-1, everybody. I thought to myself, they're a joke. Even the fans are a joke after them.
Of course they are. They ain't got a clue.
They fell for COVID, they fell for vaccine, and they fell for football. Whether they like it or not. I'm sick of trying to explain to people what's been going off. It's a joke, mate, a complete joke.
Absolutely.
You know, what we do in this country with our best players is criminal.
It is, yeah.
And I mean criminal.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, Revie back in the 70s should have been sacked for crimes against football. Southgate now, we're living now, should be sacked for crimes against football. As long as he is our manager, we will win zip. And until we get a manager with a philosophy of playing football, playing our best players, we will never win nothing.
Believe in your players.
Absolutely.
In your players.
Yeah, but these muppets don't. They're a load of clowns. The media that surround them are a load of clowns. They're all muppets and puppets and yes men.
The biggest lie out is that conspiracy theory. Right, that started after the Kennedy, just before the Kennedy got assassinated.
Yeah.
The biggest conspiracy theory is this: where everybody turns around and says about Southgate, he got us to a World Cup final.
Absolutely.
He got us to a European final in his own backyard, and he's got us to a quarter final. Yeah. Well, if we've got to a World Cup semi-final and we've got to a European final, and we've only got to quarter-final, isn't that failure?
Correct. It's gone backwards, not forwards.
Isn't that a failure?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely correct. We're going backwards.
Football, nobody.
No, we're going backwards.
I knew I couldn't play I didn't have to play third division football. I said I'm going to say, bollocks to you all. I'm going to play at Sheffield fucking Wednesday. I've had enough of you all.
Exactly. But again, when we come out with this spiel and this absolute BS that he's the most successful manager we've had since Ramsey.
With the best players we've had for a long time.
Absolutely. And then identify and reference 3 failures in tournaments. I'm saying, I'm sorry, If you actually think that way, you need to take a good hard look in the mirror because you
Look
are
at the fans that think
part.
that way.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you. They are
Yeah,
part of the.
whatever the fans are sticking up for him, that's what.
Of course they are. Them fans are part of the problem. They haven't got a clue. And that's the problem with English football.
They've
Absolute
been
garbage.
brainwashed.
Of course they have. They're all brainwashed and most of them are idiots. They just turn up, clap and come back next week and clap again and put up with it. My magic moments, yes, Kylian Mbappe, that volley. I mean, the only man that scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final where
And not to win it.
and all three balls crossed all three
I
balls crossed the line. He actually scored 4 times against Martinez. I don't know why Martinez has got that doll with Mbappe's face on it. I have no idea because he did score 4 times past your son. But what I noticed and what I was listening to, and we've done the part 7 of Alan Hudson's World Cup diary, and we did touch upon this. On commentary, Lee Dixon said, I can't believe he hasn't taken a touch. And I'm thinking,
I heard him say it.
I know, I can't believe you're a commentator. Anybody with any football brain, that ball comes over, you're putting your laces through straight away, and you're going to score.
When you've got the ability, as Mbappe's got,
absolutely,
he's capable of doing it. But now, you've only got to listen to what he said. He should have taken a touch. No wonder why we're no good at coaching.
Absolutely. You wouldn't have took a touch. You'd have done exactly what Mbappe done because you got that technical ability.
I'll tell you what I might have done.
You wouldn't. You'd have smashed it.
As it coming up, volleyed it up it a couple of times, and then did an overhead fucking kick. I've had enough of Lee Dixon and all. And I like him as players, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like
I've had enough of them.
Yeah.
They haven't got a clue, and we've got to listen to them.
Absolutely. I said to Woody, I turn it down now before the game at half time and I just turn it down. And even with the commentary, I'm just watching the game of football. I don't want to listen to these clowns talk. Second up was Paul Smythe's goal for Orient against Sutton United. Another great goal. That kid is scoring some fabulous goals. Northern Ireland international. He's only 25. Used to play for Queen's Park Rangers. Now at the Mighty O's. Top of the league, flying. There was a lovely picture of him and Kitch the other week on Kitch's social medias. He looks a talent, and I'm sure that them O's fans at Brisbane Road, it is Brisbane Road, and Brisbane Lane, are absolutely loving him.
Brisbane Road.
It is road, isn't it, not lane?
A secret, by the way, another little secret.
Yeah.
Right. And again, nobody can turn around and say, because I like Gary as a player. Not a lot of people did. Gary Neville.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to say then about. Oh, and you know, if they would have sacked him.
Yeah.
The kid who's at manager now, what's his name? He used to be with Gary Neville at Man United then when they were kids, and then he got Salford manager job. Interfering too much. Failure at Valencia.
Yeah.
Right. What's his name? The Orient manager. He'll come to me in a bit. He was Donny manager, Donny, and then they took him to.
Oh yeah.
They took him to Salford, right? Interfered.
He was a manager in the final, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I can.
Wellings.
Yeah, Richie Wellings. Yeah.
Richie Wellings.
That's the fella.
You know, so that's how clever we are at football. Yes, he's played in Premier League. Yes, he's done this. Yes, he's done that. Right. They sacked him. He's gone there. He's absolutely about 10 points clear at top of League 2 and sold for about 6.
Gary Neville is like a football. He's full of wind. The bloke's a clown. I've got no time for Gary Neville. Yeah, he was a decent player. Yeah, he was decent. He was okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he was a brilliant player. I thought he was.
Do you know something, T?
Don't forget they're playing at Man United, and they're not going to lose. No, and they can afford to carry.
Absolutely.
When they carry a player, you can't say anything carry because.
But do you know something?
They weren't bad at the ball. They were quick. You know.
If you had Gary Neville playing now, right, or these players playing then, if you had Kyle Walker, Reece James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gary Neville wouldn't have got 10 caps.
Well,
he's very lucky he played.
Gary Stevens at Everton, twice a better player than Gary.
Exactly, yeah.
Twice.
Absolutely, 100%. But again, it's because he played for Man United. But you're right, Stevens was a far better player than...
Part of it for me, Gabby, is whether that manager really likes you. Fergie liked Gary Neville, didn't they?
Yeah, he
You
did.
know.
Mind
That
you,
helped.
didn't Gary Stevens, wouldn't he have been finished by the time Gary Neville was in his pomp, really? Looking
I'm not
at
quite
it.
sure on
Yeah.
that, but what I'm trying to say, Gary Stevens at Everton, I played with him and behind me.
Yeah, because again, Stevens was mid 80s at Everton when he was really in his pomp, and they were like the class of '92. So
what I'm saying is, Gary Stevens was twice the player than he was.
100%. Absolutely, 100%. I think Neville was lucky that he played in an age where there wasn't...
Well, Man United were winning everything.
Yeah, and there wasn't that many great right backs that were vying for his position. And finally, my third, because I like three, my trilogy here in our Magic Moments. I didn't fancy it last night. I thought the Carabao Cup was going to be on. Newcastle against Bournemouth or Wolves against Gillingham, and I was looking through the channels, 4:01 on Sky, and it was Aberdeen versus Rangers. So I was watching a little bit, and I thought, this don't look like a bad game actually. And I watched a fella really caught my eye. He reminded me of Dilly Alley when he was a good player at Tottenham. Remember when he had that really good season at Tottenham and played for England, and you thought, he's a player. A fella who's only 20, Malik Tillman. He plays for Rangers. He's on loan from Bayern Munich. He's an American lad. Again, only 20. I looked at him and I thought, you look a player, son. Now, I've watched Bellingham, who they keep telling me he's 19 and he's the greatest midfield player on the planet. And I'm thinking, no, you've got the greatest PR on the planet next to COVID. And I watched this Tillman and I thought, what a tremendous player you look. And when you're playing again, I'll be tuning in to watch you because you're the kind of player that catches my eye, excites me, and I want to watch more. I've never done that with Bellingham, ever.
I've been having accumulators on football.
Yeah, you've done it, didn't you?
£10, 20 quid. Right? And then Rangers are winning 1-0.
Yeah.
2-1. And then in the 97th minute, I said to Jock, they've equalised. I said, Jock, the funny. I said, Jock just me, look. I said, lucky. That's the first time it's happened to me. I had Liverpool winning 3-0. Not Liverpool. AC Milan winning 3-0 for 18,000 quid when Liverpool come back and drew. I had Man United against Sheffield United to win me nearly 8,000 quid in FA Cup when Man United were at the peak. Giggs and all them played at Bramall Lane. They're winning 1-0, they got beat 2-1. I had Liverpool to win me another £18,000 when Thomas scored the winner for Arsenal. All they had to do was draw.
Yeah.
You know, so I said to Joe, don't tell me about luck. That's the first time it's happened to me.
But it was a cracking finale to the game. But Rangers, it was the first time I'd really looked at Rangers and I thought, if you're playing, I'm going to be watching you next time because I think you've got some really good footballers. I know people joke about the Scottish Premier League and saying it's nothing more than a pub league. Well, this Rangers team looked as though...
You can find the gem in it, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. They looked as though that they were a team. I really enjoyed watching Rangers perform last night. And usually it's the... Oh, my cat's attacking me. Get off, you balmy bugger. This cat's bonkers, I tell you. Hold on, let me get rid of it. Wait, come on. Wait, muck, out. Come on.
I put a post on my wall tonight about the cat. When you get off there, have a look at it. Your fishes and are laughing.
This cat is an absolute... It's only a little kitten. But, hold on, mate.
Wait, be careful. I don't want you getting yourself in trouble.
Poor blimey.
Are you listening?
Yeah. It's an absolute nutcase.
I don't care. I don't want you getting reported.
I mean, imagine how that cat feels, Dave the cat. I mean, England didn't come home empty-handed from the World Cup. We won the Fair Play Trophy because we keep kneeling. What a waste of time and an embarrassment that is. And we've given Dave the cat a new house. I mean, he must be thinking, all right, I'm coming over to England. It's a bit cold. I hope they don't send me down to West Ham for that Kurt Zuma.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, you couldn't make it up, could you? I mean, like, what a joke of a tournament. I enjoyed it on the whole. There were some games that I enjoyed. We're going to be talking about the final in our topics of the week in a short while, TC. But first, let's go over to our book corner in association with myfootballbooks.com. Andy, who always sends us a recommendation, and we've now done our part 10 of our football book corner with Andy, where Andy picks a load of books, and I've looked at players and also authors that I've done podcasts with throughout 2022, and those are my choices for the latest book corner with Andy. But he sent us a Spur Forever, my lily white and blue life by Steve Perryman with Adam Powley. It's not just a book; it is a work of art. It's a phenomenal book. I've got it in my library. It's here on my bed. The foreword by Glenn Hoddle as well. And when you go through that book, it is the best book I've ever seen in terms of, the pictures, and it's a coffee table book too. I mean, when you look at it and you look at some books, you'd think you'd pay 50, 60 quid for this book of Stevie Perriman's. It is just it's different class. It's fantastic. And also Mark Steve's 71st birthday today, so I have wished him a happy birthday. He does share the same date as my mother, who's 80 today, and I've had references. I've had interaction by Steve. Steve, he sent back, thanks, Gab, I really appreciate it. And I did speak to my mum. But yeah, Steve Perryman and my mum. My mum's 18, Steve Perryman is 71 today. The baby-faced assassin, finally
Yeah,
grown up.
he always looked a baby, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. I mean, he still does, don't he? And he does do a lovely podcast, Tottenham Hotspur podcast as well, Steve. And I'm always sharing it and putting it on our group as well. Legend of the game, and a legend of the internet as well, with his fantastic podcast. So look out for that. Stevie Perryman, A Spur Forever, My Lily White and Blue Life, and the forward by his good mate Glenn Hoddle. Second up is a book that Andy has been promoting, and one that really took my fancy. Again, whether I'm watching a game or whether I'm going on social media, there's some books that I look at and some players I look at and think, I quite like the look of that. And this book, it's called The Match, and it's Brazil versus Italy 1982 World Cup by Piero Trellini. So I'm guessing that he's an Italian journalist who's written this book of that match. One of the great matches in World Cup history, certainly of modern World Cup history. I remember as a kid watching that game in 1982, hoping that Brazil were going to win, but it was the game that I realised who Paolo Rossi was. I think he'd just come back off a ban, hadn't he? He'd been banned from, I think, was it betting? I mean, it's probably something more sinister than Ivan Toney, but I think it involved betting. But he did come back off the ban.
That doesn't surprise me with Italians, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, the game has been really infested. I think is a proper word to say about the Italians and the way that they've had corruption within their game, betting syndicates, scandals, the mafia, etc., etc. But what a player Paolo Rossi was, wasn't he? God rest his soul as well, because he passed away, didn't he, this year? But and I believe he was the Golden Boot winner as well that year in Italia. Espana '82, wasn't
he? Yeah. Let's wish big good luck to Vialli, because he's had to pack it. He's got cancer, so hope he recovered from it. He thought he had cleared it all. He's come back, hasn't it? So
it's a nasty one, was it? It's pancreatic as well, isn't it? It's a nasty one, that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, sadly, when Music Terry Hall, he passed away yesterday. He had
Yes.
pancreatic cancer. It's horrible. And you're right. Viali did look as though he'd got rid of it, but sadly, it's reared its ugly head again. So yeah, of
I hear
course,
that I heard on the news that he had to step down
yeah,
in the World Cup or something. Something just after the World Cup. I heard.
absolutely. And what a great player he was. Formed that tremendous partnership with Mancini, didn't he, for Sampdoria? Great player. And of course, like for Chelsea, Gianluca Vialli, yeah, sending love and best wishes to Gianluca Vialli and his family. But that game, what's your memories of that game, T? 82, Italy versus Brazil.
But as usual, you got what Zico, uh, Socrates, Falcao,
Junior, yeah,
Junior, all these great players. I thought they were going to want to win it.
yeah.
I mean, they play some absolutely sublime football. You know, and when you need to put it back in the net, they just didn't do it, did it? In a certain game, and it cost them. And so I've never been a big lover of Italian football, so I don't know how I'm trying to get around it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
don't watch Italian football.
I think
But I
in
do like one or two Italian players.
absolutely. I think in that first group of matches there, because I think in Spain '82, didn't they play the first load of group games was three games, then they qualified to another load of group games. It wasn't straight knockout back then as it is now. I think they had lots of group games, if memory serves me right. And I think in the first load of group games, I don't think Italy scored a goal or may have scored one and qualified to the next stages. And then that was the game really that Italy kicked on and Paolo Rossi really comes to the fore. And Brazil, I think I can't remember who scored off the top of my head for Brazil, but I do remember a defence splitting pass by Junior, and it was kind of end to end. It was ebbing and flowing, and you're thinking Brazil are back up now. Italy are in the box. So a little bit like extra time with the World Cup final, and then all of a sudden, I think there was a corner, wasn't, and then the ball falls to Paolo Rossi. He turns in, just knocks it in, and they knock out Brazil. But a fantastic game, and I'll be buying that book to read about it. And I did post up because on YouTube there is a full game. It is in Italian commentary, but you can go online and look at that game in its full and glorious splendour of 90 minutes. Brazil versus Italy, 1982.
Brilliant, yeah.
And then thirdly, TC, Ozzy's Dream, my autobiography by Ozzy Ardiles and Marcelo Morat. Why? I can't even pronounce his last name because the Argentinians and the Spanish and the Portuguese, etc., they all have four names, don't they? I don't know why there's a Y, and then it's Arugio or something, but it is Spanish, and my Spanish pronunciation isn't very good. It's probably slightly better than my Latin and my Italian pronunciation, but I'm better at English. But Ozzy Ardiles, Ozzy's Dream, his autobiography, again, what a player, wasn't he, Ozzy Ardiles? And that ties nicely up with Steve Perryman, because of course they both teamed up for Tottenham Hotspur after the '78 World Cup finals, and Ozzy's dream literally was at Wembley in '81 for the 100th FA Cup final involving Spurs and Man City, and his teammate Ricky Villa scoring that wonderful winning goal.
Brilliant, great. One of the great FA Cup goals. But the Argentinian team won it. Luque, Ardiles,
Yep,
Pasarella.
Pastorella.
All the great players. They brought some different type of football to our game, didn't they?
Well,
And obviously they had to leave England because of the Falklands War, but at least they came back.
yeah, because really we didn't know much about Argentina in those days because they got to the first final in 1930, and Argentina have always had a pedigree in football, but I remember as a kid growing up and watching the likes of Ruben Ayala and one or two others playing for Atletico Madrid against Celtic and kicking the living daylights out of them. And then we'd had in '66 Ratin being sent off and the Argentinians at Wembley. So I guess as a kid growing up,